Okay, so here we are. We're talking about paragraph 4E, algebraic substitution. Now, why do we call it algebraic substitution and not just substitution? Yes, we could say that. It's because substitution may be confusing some other people. Maybe, for example, in football. Does anyone know we can substitute someone in football? What's that? You change the player. So what do? You take the player and you replace that player with another player. You substitute that player for another player. So basically, substitute means replace something with something else. If I somehow, for example, suddenly just go, someone will have to substitute me, right? They will drag me out of the room. They'll put somebody else here who's going to be more boring, 100%, right? Exactly. Okay, so here we are, basically substituting a letter with a number. That's basically what we are doing here. So let me show you an example. They're saying A is 2. Okay, hold on a second. It's time to use some colors here. So they're saying A. It's fine. It's going to be fine. No. You don't have to. It's going to be given to you. A is 2, right? And B is -1. So they've told us A is 2. In this case, they're giving it to us, right? They're saying if A is 2 and B is -1, what is going to be this expression down here on the left? So the title is algebraic substitution. Yes? Excellent. So, eyes on the board. What I just said makes 100% sense. Remember how when we have 3, the times, you just write the times. I'll show you now. I'll do it with you. Let's do it step by step. So, saying, if I have a 3 in front of A, what does that mean? I have between the 3 and the A, hidden, invisible. Times, right? In English, we write like an X, but it's times. So basically, we have 3 times, but the A, they said, is 2. So we just write down 3 times 2. Yep. And then notice we had that minus there. So we just copy the minus. And then we had 2 times, very close. They said that B is -1, right? So if that's -1, we just put a -1. So notice what we did. We replaced the A with the 2 and we replaced the B with a -1. Now, I'm just going to emphasize this. I'm going to put them in brackets just to make it clear. I don't have to, but I'll just put them in brackets just to make it super clear that this is what's happened. All right? So everyone now knows exactly what's happened. Let's go ahead and calculate this. Now, what is 3 times 2? Excellent. What is going to be negative times a negative? Negative times a negative. Minus times minus, guys. Yes? Do we agree? Positive. You said it 100 times. I just wanted to make sure everyone's on board. 2 times 1. 2. Okay, now comes the really tricky question. What is 6 plus 2? Excellent. Well done, guys. You're super good. All right. That's it. Well done. You were very close. All right. Basically, that's the idea. So what have we done? Just to recap, they gave us an expression down here, 3A minus 2B. And they said, A is 2, B is -1. Calculate this. We go and replace those letters with those numbers. What do we call this, replacing that letter with that number then? Substitution. So here they said, let's call it algebraic substitution. But most people say substitution. We don't have to say the algebraic bit. All right, then we have C squared plus B. So let's just very quickly check what they've said. So they said C squared. Let's use red for this. Excellent. It's okay. We can reuse it. No problem. And B is -1. Okay. So they said C squared plus B, right? So they said C. Excellent. Let's write it down. So now notice how we have C squared. Now C is 3. So 3 squared. And then plus, what was that B again? The pink one? Plus -1. Okay, I'm just going to put everything in brackets. You don't have to, but I'm doing it to emphasize what's happening. So the red thing has been replaced with 3, and the pink thing has been replaced with -1. Amazing. Let's go ahead and calculate this. Now, 3 squared, hands up if you think that's equal to 6. 3 squared is equal to 6? No? 9. Why is it 9 and not 6? 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9. Excellent. So let's just keep that in mind, because a lot of students seem to think this is equal to 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 would actually be wrong. Okay, so that would be the wrong thing to do. Okay, so that's going to be 9. And then we have to add minus 1. Yes, exactly. Because plus and minus together, they give us a minus, right? It's like negative and a positive. So 9 minus 1, which gives 8. Exactly. Very close, very close. Well done. So close. 7 was almost correct. All right, I'm joking as well. All right, this is it, guys. This is the example, the first example. So these are relatively simple examples. Now I've got one more. Bear with me. Right, face the front. Let's do this. I know this is not the most engaging topic on a Monday period 2, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. All right, so let's say P is 3. Let's do this all together now. P is 3. Then we've got Q is minus 2. That's Q. And then we've got R is minus 4. So this thing down there. So let's go ahead and see what that is going to give us. Okay, let's get started. On the numerator. So the red thing becomes 3. The pink one becomes minus 2. So notice here what happened. We had a minus, we'll put another minus. Let me put them on the same level so it's clear. Minus, minus 2. So notice what happened. The minus was there. We put the minus there, but now they had another minus 2. Yeah. Exactly. It will become positive. And then underneath we had minus 4. So we put the whole minus 4 there in the denominator. So we are done with the substitution. Yes? Yes, because they said R is minus 4 in the denominator, right? That was R. So red became 3, pink became minus 2, blue became minus 4. Okay, let's move on now. What is the top going to be now? So it's going to be 3 plus 2 because of the minus, which will give us 5. And what about the denominator? It's minus 4. Exactly. And now the killer question, 5 divided by minus 4. Can we actually write it slightly more nicely, this one? You could do that, yes, but the minus, can we just... Exactly. We can bring the minus in front. Generally speaking, this is a convention, right? Most people in the world will put the minus... Yeah, there was a minus 4 in the denominator, right? So what you can do is you can take the minus from that denominator and put it in front of the fact. That's all we did, right? We generally take that minus and put it in front. We generally do this. Now, some students who want to divide this and calculate this, you don't have to, but I was saying, can I do that? Yes, you could do it. If you wanted to, you could write it as minus 1.25. But by no means am I expecting you to do this. I'm not expecting you to do this. You don't need to do this. But if you want to, for some reason, you know how to divide this by 4, you can do that. But what I'm saying is the best one would be to just keep that as it is. This would be fine. This would also be correct, but not necessarily the best thing, because you're actually spending a bit more time to divide. So I'm not really looking for you to do that. All right, moving on to B. B looks, oh my gosh, that looks scary, doesn't it? Let's see. So let's just very quickly say what's happened. So they said Q is equal to minus 2. What else did they say? They said R is equal to minus 4. I'm just going to copy that so I can zoom into that side of the page. So R is going to be equal to minus 4. Last one, guys. I know. Bear with me. We're almost done. And then we've got P is equal to 3. Okay, let's do this. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Okay, pay some attention here as well, because otherwise you will miss some of the things we're doing. Okay, Q squared plus something, and then underneath we'll have a plus. What is Q squared? Very close. Minus 2 squared is correct. Nicely done. Don't forget the minus. In this case, it will give you the same result, but let's put it there to make sure we cover. We will need them. We'll talk about the brackets in a second. Yes, they're very important. Yeah. Why the minus? Q is minus 2. So we're just replacing it with minus 2. Then we have plus. What is P times R, guys? Eyes on the board. Help us out. Help us out. What is P times R? 3. So P is 3. Yes. Times. Now, R is, what was R? -4. So that's going to be times -4. Excellent. Let's put that in brackets just to emphasize that. And now underneath, what is P plus R? P is 3. Plus R is -4. Excellent. Plus -4. Now I'm putting brackets everywhere. You'll see why I'm doing that in a bit. Okay. Now before we move on, I have to say something really, really important. That -2 there being squared. Super SOS. This is SOS. So you're stranded in an island. There's one thing about maths you need to remember. This is it. When you raise a number to the power of 2, the negative number squared, it must be inside brackets. So negative number squared, you must always put brackets around it and just square it or raise it to a power. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, the -2 squared, which gives you -2 times -2, which becomes +4. If you don't put the minus inside the brackets, then it's like this. You get -2 times 2, which gives you -4. Now, this one is not what they're saying. So this would be the correct one in this case, whereas this would be incorrect. It would be wrong in this case. So when they say you need to replace this number in there with -2, you have to put it in brackets. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're stranded in an island all alone trying to build your own. Yes, so when you're doing substitution like this, basically put the number in brackets with the sign. Now, for me, a little trick, if you like, if you don't want to think about this, always put them in brackets. Whatever you replace, just put it in brackets. It's not wrong. No one's going to say, hey, why did you put brackets here? You didn't need to. You can say, well, I wanted to. What's the problem with that? I just like it. You can say, okay, all right. Take it easy. Yes. So maybe they have a slightly different case. We'll have a look at those cases. But what I'm saying is here, you see how you have Q being squared? That Q, which is -2, definitely needs to go in brackets, and then you square the whole thing. Okay, let's calculate it all together. What is -2 squared, guys? -2 squared. What is that? 4. Why is that 4? Because we saw it up there. -2 times -2 gives 4, because negative times a negative becomes positive, and 2 times 2 is 4. Yes. Moving on to the next bit. +3 times -4. Positive times a negative gives minus. 3 times 4 gives 12. Okay, so that's going to be 4 minus 12 on top. Now we move on to the denominator. 3 plus -4. -1 is correct. Excellent. I'm going to write it as 3 minus 4 for now, and then I'm going to put it down as -1, like you said. Now, what is 4 minus 12? -8 is correct. Excellent, because we're doing a smaller number, take away a bigger number. Now, negative divided by negative, positive, it works the same way as multiplying. So this becomes a +8 divided by +1. And then 8 divided by 1 gives just 8. So what the hell, everything has been equal to 8 today. Somebody's favorite number is 8. But anyway, okay, excellent. So yes. Yes, exactly. So we had 3 8s. We had 8, 8, and 8, but then one of them was an 8. But anyway, enough blabbering on my end. I do apologize. I talk too much. Hopefully these examples will help you now with the questions underneath. So let's get ready to rock and roll. I'm going to upload the annotations now.